Hi, Christiana.
Hi, Jocelyn.
Well, glad to have you on here on our Google Hangout. Uh, for
Thank
those
you
of
for
you that
having
don't,
me.
for those of you that don't know Christiana Augustine is the CEO of Augustine Business Solutions. She is a website developer that I was fortunate enough to actually spend some time with and learn about, and was very impressed with your technical knowledge. But more importantly, when we sat down, I think what I was impressed with was that you have actually built sites that were generating revenue, that you're actually making money and earning revenue with websites,
That is
which is
correct.
different than somebody that's just designing pretty websites. You've actually put some sites to work. I know you were telling me about the Nativity site and several other sites that you design. And for me, it's you're walking the walk. Not only are you just creating sites that are pretty, but they're actually functioning, generating revenue. That's pretty different from what I've seen out there. So if you give me just a quick, maybe a quick couple lines about your background, that would be great.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Thank you for having me. And thank you. That was very complimentary. What we were going to talk about today, or what you were asking about my background, I started off with information systems and wrote programs, and then eventually just realized that I did like some graphic designing. And when I started designing websites, the two parts came together where I am writing programs. I wrote programs in, I did websites with HTML, but of course now for the most part I work with WordPress and then tweak it a little by changing the CSS and some of the things in the back so that they don't just look like every other website. So I try to bring people's what they need, what they want, what they like into the sites that they would like for me to build for them.
Okay, great. Well, I think that probably the topic for today are the three biggest mistakes that people make when choosing a web developer, a website developer. Since you're the expert, hopefully that will be very helpful because so many people, when they're getting their business started, they're so excited about getting that website. They talk to people and they just jump right into it, and it can be very expensive. So I'm hoping that with a little wisdom here from you, that we can get maybe the three biggest mistakes people make, and people can avoid them and have a better experience and save some money and have just a better overall better outcome. So what are those three mistakes that people normally make? The biggest mistakes.
The biggest one that I can think of that would be kind of more difficult to recover from is what I can try to give. And the first one I can think of is make sure that you own your domain name. Uh, it's just, I can't emphasize that enough. If somebody's going to develop your site and they own the domain, move on, find somebody else, because that is something that needs to be a part of your branding, a part of what your business is. You don't want it to be under somebody else's control. Um, to buy a domain is going to be like, on the average now, $10. Some of the bigger ones will cost you up to $50, but that's a year. So that's something that you can really put the effort into to make sure that you get your own domain name. That would be the biggest one.
That seems really important because
Yeah.
so if somebody decides to start a business, they tell their website developer that they want to create a website, and the actual web development company will end up owning the URL to their business.
In some instances, yes. So what I'm saying is make sure that that's not the case because it doesn't have to be.
Okay, that seems huge. So, Christiana, what would you say is the second biggest mistake that people make when they're developing their website?
Well, come with know what you want. Come to the developer with an idea of what you want. You don't have to know the technical aspects of it, but you save so much heartache and so much. The developer is better able to deliver on what you want if you can clearly tell them what you want. To go pick up 2 or 3 websites and say, I like the features in this one, I like this feature in this one, I like this feature in this one. Do that due diligence, do that work so that you're able to express what you would like, and in that way the final product will be a little bit closer to what you want rather than just I don't know. and then they come up with something that you may not like, and then you have to live with it, and that's kind of hard.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is go out there, see some websites that you like, make
Yes,
sure that you have a concept of what you want so that when you're working with your website developer, you can collaborate and communicate in a way that the outcome
correct,
is successful.
correct.
Great advice. Great advice. And
Thank
what would you
you.
say is the third tip of the day?
I would say budget. Um, just know how much, set a budget beforehand. Know how much you want to spend, and to be able to make sure that you're shopping within that frame. You don't want something that becomes too big and too expensive and cause frustration for you and for the developer. Also, be clear on the charges that are included in your site development. For instance, paying for your domain name, paying for your hosting, they're usually not a part of the site development. The developer sometimes is included, but they're your expenses. It's what you pay for renting um, World Wide Web space, which is for your hosting, and then for your domain name, giving your site a name. So make sure that there's clarity in terms of what is included in the price that they're quoting for you, and that altogether it fits in your budget.
Okay. Okay, well, that's great advice. So basically, it sounds like the three things that the three biggest mistakes people make are: one, they don't own their domain name. Uh,
Correct.
Two, they come in, they meet with a website developer, and they have no idea what they want.
Correct.
And then the third one is they come into this and they do not have a budget, and there can be miscommunication there, or they may end up going way over budget, which
Correct.
getting started in business could be a big problem
Correct.
on cash flow.
Right. And I want to plug one thing in here too, as far as the domain name. There are lots of new, what they call TLD, top level domain names that are coming out. We used to have like the .com, .org, .biz. Well, now there are hundreds more that
Mm,
are being put out.
okay.
I think the last count it was 895 that I counted or that I'm aware of. So we're talking lots and lots and lots more opportunities for you to pick the name that is close enough to your business name. So this is a good time to go shop for domain names. They have dot, dot web, dot club, dot um, restaurant, dot photography, like all of these. So this will be a good time for you to research that and to find out how to get a domain name that is closer to what you want. It used to be that you just had the 4 or 5 options before. Now there's several more. So, and not all of them have rolled out. So some of it you may have to wait for. But if you know that it's coming, then it's good to wait for it. Like I'm waiting for .web. I want to make sure that I can use the .web. So um, that's just something I wanted to throw out there in terms of domain.
Well, that's great bonus information. So, Christiana, if somebody is wanting to consult with you or consider working with you on having you be their website developer, how can they get a hold of you?
My website, my main website is AUG Enterprise, AUGENTERPRISE.com. And if you go on there on the right-hand column, you can request for a 14-page report that gives you a little bit more, and it's all free. And that report is what you need to know before you meet with a web developer. And it gives you a lot more in-depth information than what I've given to you. You can request it through my contact page because as of last night, the subscriber form that is there was malfunctioning, so I took it out. But if you go in there and you click on it, it will take you to a contact page where you can send me information and I will send it to you manually. But it's yours to have for free.
Okay, so you've got a free report right now on how to avoid mistakes and do your due diligence when hiring a web developer if somebody were
Yes.
to get your site.
the title is Hiring a Website Developer, What You Need to Know Beforehand. So
Okay,
it
that's
covers a lot
fantastic.
more. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for hanging
Thank
out
you.
with me, and I
Thank you,
appreciate all the great
Justin.
tips, and hopefully those will help our friends out there in the business community
Okay.
avoid some mistakes and do well with their business enterprise. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for
You're
having
welcome.
me.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.